Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into one of the most fascinating and, let's be honest, kind of controversial questions in tech right now. Can AI agents actually learn and improve entirely on their own? We all know what digital assistants can do today, but the idea of digital workers learning independently, now that is a whole new frontier. Let's get right into it. To really wrap our heads around this, just imagine you're hiring a brand new human employee. On day one, they probably know next to nothing about how your business actually runs, right? So what do? Well, first, they ask a ton of questions. Second, they're definitely going to make a few mistakes along the way. Third, they get feedback from you. And finally, over time, they use that feedback to get better. Through that exact process, they become faster, way more confident, and just super effective at their job. Experience literally builds their competence.
Which brings us to a really fascinating question. Could AI agents eventually learn this exact same way? Think about a digital worker following that exact human path. What if every single task it completes actually helps it get better the next time? What if every computational mistake it makes turns into a permanent lesson? And every success just adds to this massive, growing database of experience. Taking that employee metaphor and moving it into the digital world makes the whole concept incredibly exciting. But it also raises some pretty massive questions. Before we get too far into the future, let's just ground ourselves in where we are right now. Today's AI can already handle some seriously complex stuff. They can organize mountains of information, write up detailed reports, analyze huge data sets in the blink of an eye, schedule our meetings, and even jump in to help with frontline customer support. It's an absolutely impressive capability. But, and this is a really big but, in almost all of these cases, they still heavily rely on us. They need our human instructions, our prompt engineering, and our constant oversight to actually function correctly. So, let's look at the next generation. The ultimate goal here is true adaptability, an agent that dynamically improves its performance based on real-world feedback and updated information. And just to be super clear here, it's not because the machine is suddenly developing human emotions or consciousness. No. It's strictly about processing feedback loops to refine its output mathematically. Let's walk through a real-world example to see how this adaptability plays out. Imagine an AI agent set up to run an online store. At first, it's just doing the basics, answering common customer questions about shipping times, return policies, that kind of thing. But over time, just through trial and feedback, it starts to recognize which of its answers actually solve the customer's problems the best. It adapts. Then it gets better at spotting highly urgent or sensitive requests, essentially figuring out exactly when a real human needs to step in. It's progressively getting better on the job. And this perfectly illustrates another incredible application, an AI research assistant. Think about the scientific community for a second. Every single day, thousands of new scientific papers drop. It is a literal mountain of data that no human could ever read in a lifetime. But an AI agent, it can organize all of it. It spots important developments and constantly refines how it searches for information based on what the human researcher actually uses. The end result? Human researchers spend way less time filtering through endless documents and way more time actually connecting the dots and making breakthroughs. Let's look at one final, super impactful example of this in action: an AI managing energy inside a massive office building. This agent just sits there and observes electricity usage day in and day out. Over time, it learns all the complex seasonal patterns and figures out exactly when peak demand hits. And without anyone telling it to, it gradually adjusts the heating, cooling, and lighting schedules. It learns to completely maximize efficiency while making sure everyone inside stays comfortable. Those tiny, automated daily tweaks, they compound into massive financial and environmental savings over time.
Section 1. The core distinction: learning versus understanding. Now, to really grasp this difference, think about comparing how we teach a child to how we train an AI. If you teach a kid why honesty matters, eventually they internalize that lesson, right? They genuinely understand the moral value and the why behind it. An AI agent, on the flip side, is just recognizing patterns in information and behavior. It doesn't have personal beliefs. It has absolutely zero moral understanding of what honesty actually is. That fundamental difference dictates exactly how we have to treat these systems going forward. In the computational world, learning just does not equal understanding.
Section 2. The reliability challenge: balancing progress with safety.
Because AI lacks that true moral understanding, unsupervised adaptation carries a major risk. Imagine an AI changing its own behavior without us thoroughly testing it first. Since it doesn't actually understand the real world, A tiny mathematical tweak it makes to improve one specific thing might accidentally trigger a massive, totally unexpected problem somewhere else in the system. It's basically the law of unintended consequences, but amplified by automation.
And that risk of unintended consequences is exactly why developers absolutely have to evaluate AI updates rigorously before letting them loose, especially in high-stakes environments. Think about healthcare, where a weird pattern error could directly impact patient outcomes. Or transportation, where a self-driving mistake has literal physical consequences. Or finance, where one unchecked algorithmic change could throw markets into chaos. In spaces like these, we always have to balance pushing the envelope with meticulous, careful safety testing.
But hey, if we can safely navigate those hurdles, the future looks absolutely astounding. Looking ahead, future AI agents are probably going to remember the context of long-term projects that span over months. They'll intuitively adapt to your personal quirks and preferences, seamlessly coordinate behind the scenes with other specialized AIs, and manage incredibly complex workflows. Honestly, they're going to act a whole lot less like traditional software tools and way more like highly trusted digital collaborators.
Okay, but let's slow down for just a second here. Think about judgment, empathy, responsibility, creativity, moral reasoning. Even with all that mind-blowing future capability we just talked about, the qualities that actually define great leaders remain completely, uniquely human. These aren't just data points a machine can scrape and mimic. No, these are profound values that only come from actual lived human experience. And it all really boils down to this one core truth. Capability is not the same as wisdom. Look, artificial intelligence is becoming undeniably capable, right? But we can never, ever confuse the ability to process data and execute a task with the actual human wisdom required to navigate life and society. So, what does human leadership look like in the AI era? The future workplace will absolutely feature AI agents that just keep getting better. They'll save us time, wipe out the boring repetitive stuff, and untangle complex logistical nightmares. But, and this is huge, every single meaningful achievement is still going to begin with a human. It takes us to ask the important questions, to choose goals that actually matter, and to take the responsibility to decide exactly how we should use this powerful tech. The greatest innovations aren't defined by what a machine can do. They are defined by what humanity chooses to build with them. Which leaves us with a truly wild thought to end on today. If these agents can learn, adapt, and collaborate, could every single person one day have a personal AI agent working exclusively for them? Imagine having a true digital companion handling your daily grind and fiercely protecting your personal interests. If you want to stay ahead of the AI revolution, make sure you join us for our next explainer, where we are going to dive deep into exactly that. The future of intelligent digital workers is moving faster than ever, and you definitely won't want to miss what comes next. Thanks so much for joining me today.